Dear AMS, what's your stand on mandatory DNA testing for kids? Lately, I've been very paranoid about unknowingly taking care of another man's child and then finding out years later, ... Man's not Santa?
That's what he said.
I respect it.
Who is this man? He said man's not Santa.
That's how he ended the question?
Kofi from Woolwich, UK.
Wow.
That picture.
Oh my goodness.
I think that testing needs to be mandatory. It's absolutely.
Wow.
It should be mandatory. Because
But if you're not slinging your dick around, then you won't be scared about who's pregnant
It's not about us.
You may have had a partner right before me.
Exactly.
I think that the United States making DNA testing mandatory is stupid. I don't think that, it's something that if you feel like you need a DNA test, go do that on your own time because you feel that way. I don't think every person, there's millions of people in the United States. Like, it doesn't make sense that people could be using that time to do other things. Like, you could be saving a life. You could be in a hospital saving a life.
So it's like, if a woman is claiming you to be the father of the child, you may, let's say you're not with that woman, which that happens a lot, in today's society. There's some doubt that this is probably not my child, but instead of, confronting it on both ends where I feel like it should just be a mandatory. Don't tell somebody the father of the child, but that there's a doubt, like if you had slept with someone in between.
I mean, you can avoid the doubt by going by God and getting married and...
But we're talking about real life.
Do that, though.
What? Marriage is real life.
All right, Tina. Now we're talking about human.
This is the third thing she said that just makes absolutely no sense about this topic. This is the third thing. She is just she is begging for a reason to get out of mandatory DNA tests. There is no reason why a faithful woman wouldn't want a mandatory DNA test. She's saying, hey, men, you shouldn't be slanging your meat around. And I completely agree. You should have some standards with who you slang your meat around with, right? But that has nothing to do with mandatory DNA tests. That has nothing to do with that. That has everything to do with finding out if a woman is cheating. And that's why I feel like she's trying to avoid this. This is why I feel like there's so much traction right now between the men and the women. Because all the men understand, hey, this is a big commitment that a man is going to make to a woman and a child. And he should know that child is his. And I think that any respectable woman, any reasonable woman should agree with that. Second, she says, you ain't got nothing better to do with your time. No, I have nothing better to do with my time.
I think men have the right to know, for sure.
God
but
bless you.
it's definitely,
Thank you, Jerome.
no problem, guys. No problem, guys. It's
that's not
insulting, though. I mean, I think men definitely deserve to know it's their right. Just like if a woman's like out there like that, she deserves to know who the father is as well. But I think it's definitely insulting if you're in a relationship and you're married and your partner wants you to have a DNA test.
No, it's more
that
insulting.
ain't straight.
No,
That kid not yours. That's way more.
I feel like if you're in a marriage, you're happy, you're having babies, and it takes a lot to get to that place where, you're having babies with someone, if you're responsible. For the question to be asked, can you take a DNA test? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Like, what did we go down the aisle for? What did we say those vows for? If you're not going to automatically know that this baby is yours.
So this is what I'm going to say. I think that y'all want this to be mandated because of a conversation you are not strong enough to have with your girl. 1. 2. You requesting DNA, first of all, this is a very gendered question, right? There's no way for a woman, well, let me not speak for every woman. Mm-hmm. For me specifically, there's no way if my man came up to me, I wouldn't feel some type of offense. But fine, if you have the right to know whether it's your child.
They keep saying that. That's the whole point of the question being worded the way it is. The whole point of it being mandatory is so you can take the stigma out of it. You ain't got to worry about me coming up to ask you about it because it's just going to happen at the birth of the child. So that's just an excuse, right? I don't want to hear that. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're just trying to defend women that try to take advantage of vulnerable men. That's all it is. This is just another example of the women trying to go along with some kind of mandate that would allow for them to take advantage of men more. And obviously any man that's reasonable understands why there should be mandatory DNA testing.
But to say that it's mandated is where I have a problem. Who is picking up those costs? The U.S. government? The U.S. government should be paying for these mandatory tests For you to know, no. First of all, we have so many issues in this country already. To then place that type of payment on the U.S. government
Just
is
add it
wrong.
to a plan.
No,
Just on your healthcare
no,
plan.
no. And first
Check
of
the
all,
box that you
first of all,
put.
I personally pay taxes, and I care about where my money goes. I'm not here to pay for so-and-so because there's a confusion about who's the father. That's not my business. Handle your personal shit. And for me, I want to fund schools. I want to fund the MTA because the trains are never on time. We got bigger problems. We have bigger problems. I'm sorry. I'm not paying for no mandatory tests.
That energy is just not attractive at all. But that's not even what I want to talk about. So you have no problem with forcing a man, because this is also a thing, forcing a man to take care of a child for 18 years and pay for a child for 18 years that has been proven to not be his. You don't have any problem with that. You don't have any problem with your tax dollars going to that. But you have a problem with $100 bill added to your already it costs like $4,500 to have a child in America nowadays. There's a bill on there called Skin to Skin. In that bill, it costs about $70 to add this in. And pretty much all it is the mother holding her newborn child after the child is born. It's called Skin to Skin. Look it up. It's on your bill, right, if you have a child. But now you have a problem when it comes to $100 mandatory DNA test, which could be absolutely, it's just important for you as a woman to know who the father of your child is. It's important for the father because he's going to be making a huge commitment. And it's important for the child too to know who his biological father is.
We have too many other issues that are way more pressing than you knowing the fidelity of your relationship and whether that be your child. If you personally want to check
not about the
for your
fidelity,
child,
it's about
that's you.
the paternity.
But to say that it's mandatory across the country, that's crazy. And it's inconsiderate. And it's
You saying that you will pay for it, right?
Yeah, I'll pay for
so if it costs $5,000, you're gonna pay for a DNA test that costs $5,000?
Does it cost $5,000?
Doesn't cost $5,000.
I think the
I
way
have a question though. Would you be okay with your wife having you do a lie detector test, whether you cheat on her or not?
Why not?
What if you were doing something wrong though?
I wouldn't be.
You don't know if that's your child. That's personal. The country don't got to deal with that shit.
She don't know
Right.
either.
I don't need
Oh,
no child.
goodness.
That's a personal problem.
Ew.
Either way though, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like,
nobody
I mean,
knows.
So you,
That's still a personal.
I don't trust her.
I
I
don't
don't trust the baby. Like,
You hear what I'm saying, right? The argument is that it's personal.
I think it should only be mandated if it's not, if you're not in marriage.
Yeah,
if you're in marriage,
Nah, absolutely not.
that's
We are
worse.
just
Women in this situation about the topic in which we're talking about, pregnancies and DNA tests, in most cases than not, is going to be you have doubts about who the women cheating, and that's why the baby may not be yours.
Right.
The direct topic question was from a man asking he doesn't want to raise another man's child. So in that case, who would have cheated? The woman. So yeah, in those situations, it's gonna always be about a woman. You're trying to get a DNA test. If it's a man outside the relationship, he gonna bring the evidence of the cheating. He gonna bring the child. If you're married and you're in a relationship, the man is assuming. And most times when you're on Murray, you're watching these cases, or you hear about these stories.
Maury.
All right, you're assuming.
That's
You're
not even real, but
you're
okay.
assuming that.
What he's saying is, if you're a man and you're assuming that the child isn't yours, that has nothing to do with your infidelity. They keep trying to bring up the fact that it might be the man that's committing infidelity, or he's going out and cheating and doing whatever. That has nothing to do with mandatory DNA tests. Nothing. It's just squirming. It's just trying to get out of the fact that you don't want to be accountable for when you sleep with other men and bring a child into a relationship. That's the only thing it would affect. This doesn't affect anybody's mental health, except for the father's if he finds out that it's not his, I guess. But this doesn't affect anything other than the man knowing that child is his. And if you're a faithful woman, you have nothing to worry about.
The man is normally the one that's out there cheating.
Women cheat just
And
as much as men.
even guys that are religious, even people that are, I know people personally that are, that go to church every Sunday, but they still cheating on their wives. So I don't know what he's talking
The
about.
question is about if they're the father of that child, they go through the rest of this child's life taking care of it. And if that was me, like, yeah, after 18 years, they're not gonna turn your back on the child. But if I had known from day one, I'm out.
I would have.
Hold up. Pause. First of all, women take care of children that aren't there all the fucking time and don't make a big ass deal about it. No, pause.